And welcome back. We just missed a fantastic national anthem by Roosevelt student Taylor Hankins. A little country flavor to it, but great live national anthem performed by a student here to get us ready for tonight's matchup. So let's run you through the lineup one more time here. We're starting out at 160 pounds tonight. Brandon Hoffman from Mustangs will wrestle Juan Sanchez. At 170 pounds, Chris Schreiber will take on Dylan Golden. At 182, Ben O'Connell is out. He has a concussion, so it'll be open. And Steve Frank will wrestle at 195. Jesus Ibarra, the freshman, will wrestle against Charlie Schmidt. At 220, junior Anthony Stevens will wrestle against Alex Davis. And heavyweight Angel Del Campo, the senior, will wrestle against Paul Frank. Mustangs are open at 106. At 113, Ian Wingstrom, the junior, wrestling against Elijah G. Herrera. At 120, Chloe Carpenter, the sophomore, wrestling against Zach Toriju. And Justin Wood, the junior, at 126, will wrestle against Charlie Bending. Mustangs are open at 132, and Adam Carey will take a forfeit there. At 138, Jacob Kirk, Jr. will wrestle against Jake Lopez.
285 pounds, Angel Del Campo from the Mustangs versus Alex Davis.
So we got a switch for... We'll give you that switch in just a second. But where we have 138-pound Jacob Kirk, the junior wrestling Jace Lopez. 145, Caleb Silk takes on Mason Merrick. At 152, Derek Gray will wrestle against Spencer Urban. And just about the change for the Rough Riders, they'll switch their 220 and their heavyweight wrestler. Paul Frank and Alex Davis will switch. And we'll tell you about those in just a second. So we're just about ready for our opening match, and this is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance, locally in Fort Morgan and Rush. They offer home, health, auto, farm, business, and workers' compensation insurance. And Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance bringing you our opening match. Get our roster finished out and ready for our first match in just a moment. Let me tell you about a couple more of our sponsors. Buildings by Design. The most important thing behind a new building or starting a new design build project, picking the right company to build it. Call Pat Walter, Travis Lefebvre, or Jared Samples for your free bid. 842-5837. That's 842-5837 or the website buildingsbydesign.com. And Morgan Federal Bank, your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, checking, savings, and IRAs. 321 Ensign Street, Morgan Federal Bank. There is a difference. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So we'll get the coin toss here and decide which teams get to choose first. And a minor rule change also happening this year. When they do this coin toss, it determines which team has to send a wrestler out first, also determines which team gets their choice in the second period. And the one rule change is the first team, the team that has to report first, cannot change a wrestler once they're announced. So it does change things up just a little bit, or once they check into the scores table, I should say. So it does change things a little bit. So we get the handshakes, it's all done, and we'll be ready to wrestle our first match here in just one moment here. So let me tell you about another one of our sponsors, Northern Colorado Title. For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer, Northern Colorado Title at 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan. That's Northern Colorado Title at Bijou T-Quest. Stop by 302 Main Street, Fort Morgan. Letter jackets, T-shirts, banners, and more. They're also your local experts at customizing your team's sports apparel at Bijou T-Quest on Main Street in Fort Morgan. I think I said we were starting at 160. I may have said 152 and 160 both, but we're going to start at 152 pounds is what it shows on the scoreboard. And we've got Derek Gray stepping out of the mat for the Mustangs. So we'll start at 152. The first duel of the season here on Morgan County B106. They shake hands, and we're underway for our first varsity match of the night. Spencer Urban out on the mat for the Mustangs, or for Roosevelt, excuse me. There's a great shot by Derek Gray working for a single leg, but he slips out of bounds. Is not able to get it finished. So we come back to the center, and we'll try it again. Again, here is a long reach for a single leg. Gray working hard, does slip behind and gets behind Urban. But they're still on their feet, so no takedown given. And now there's Derek Gray jumping over Spencer Urban. He gets the 2-point takedown. They slide out of bounds. So 32 seconds gone in the first period. And the Mustangs, Derek Gray has the lead. The Roosevelt Rough Riders always tough. We get an early start there by Spencer Urban. So he gets caution on the start. Now we're underway. Slow activity after the caution. Nobody started on the whistle. Finally, Derek Gray is able to break down Urban. Bashes him down flat on the mat. 2-on-1 wrist lock, trying to crank down control, maybe get Urban tilted over with it. Minute 5 seconds to go in the first period. Here comes Urban up onto his feet. But that tight lock by Derek Gray, he's able to spiral him right out of bounds. So we'll come back to the center and do it again. 1:03 to go in the first period. The opening match here tonight at 152 pounds. Derek Gray leading things off for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Here's Urban up onto his feet. And Derek Gray just cuts him loose. Makes the score 2-1. Derek Gray's up 2-1. 50 seconds to go in period number 1. They work near us in front of the scorer's table, in front of the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders take a deep breath and back up, but the whistle blows. They'll go back to the center and do it again. Well, they continue to work going counterclockwise inside the 10-foot circle. Tapping heads, reaching around for outside single legs. Both wrestlers looking for control position. And here's a shot by Urban, and they'll slip out of bounds. 26 seconds to go in the first period. The wrestlers slow down the final 20 seconds here, staying away from each other. Gray sitting dead center in the ring, watching as Urban circles around him. Down to the final few seconds of the first period. And it looks like this is how the period's going to come to a close. Gray leads 2-1 after 1. Choice is going to go to Derek Gray, and he will work from the bottom of the referee's position. Urban jumps on the left side. There's a switch attempt by Gray. He's halfway through it, turning back in, trying to complete the reversal. He's got a hold of a single leg, trying to drive back in on Spencer Urban. He can pop his head out and work up the body. He can get it. Got to be careful, though. He may end up with a stalemate call here. He gets dropped down onto a hip, but trying to drive through. And there comes the stalemate call. Rocky Morgan, our official tonight, and he does like things to move quickly, historically, as we've seen him do matches before. We don't see, we see the stalemates called pretty quickly. Like to see wrestlers moving. So now Urban riding from the left side. Gray tries to hit a sit-out position, just gets knocked back down to a hip. Urban trying to crank up that arm. Gray works himself back into the referee's position with a minute 10 to go in the second period. Derek Gray leading in the match again, 2-1. The opening match of this varsity duel here at Roosevelt High School. Rough Riders hosting the Mustangs. There's a caution for stalling, and that's going to go against Derek Gray. Gray not doing a whole lot on the bottom. Had a good shot at a reversal early in the period, but now he's been mashed down flat, trying to keep control of his own ribs again. Does break his arms free, back into the referee's position, but again, Derek Gray not doing a whole lot. He's going to have to be careful. Already been cautioned for stalling. Coach Spike Reynolds warning him too. Don't take your time. He says get up quickly. So Gray gets set. Urban will jump on the right side this time. Off the whistle, and here's Urban up onto his feet, trying to break a wrist grip. And Urban just picks an ankle to hang on. He's hanging on down low on the ankle. And Derek Gray is down to his knees, and now they'll get back into the referee's position. Here comes a big roll. Was there a locked hand? No, don't think there was. The official came together as if he was going to signal locked hands, but then he waved it off. There's 10 seconds left in the period. Derek Gray had some opportunities to score from the bottom, but has not been able to cash them in. They'll go out of bounds. 1 second left in the period. See if Derek Gray wants to try and hustle in this last second, or if he'll be content to let the period expire. Urban jumps on the right side, and now, this time it was Derek Gray going early. So we'll finish out the period with no activity. We'll go to the final 2 minutes. And looks like Derek Gray now is going to have to ride to hold on to this 2-1 lead. No scoring in that second period. Gray jumps on the right side. This time, who was it? This time, Urban jumped early. Derek Gray slips on the right side. We're underway. Drags down Urban. Urban back up to the referee's position. Derek Gray working from the right side, blocking that far leg. Here comes Spence Urban up on his feet. He escapes from here. Tied. And Roosevelt crowd starts to make some noise. Tied in the match with 1:35 to go. Be a big start for the Fort Morgan Mustangs to try and get a victory in here to start the duel. Gray with the shot, they'll slip out of bounds. 1:25 left in the match. They come back to the center. Refs are slowing down a little bit. Maybe not in the end-of-season shape here, just in the second week of matches. 1:12 left in the match, all tied 2-2. Wrestlers on their feet. Derek Gray opening things up at 152 pounds. Looked like a decent shot by Urban, but just great hip strength by Derek Gray to block him off. Now Gray sits on top with a sprawl, but he's trying to pop out behind it. He didn't have enough real estate left to finish it. They go out of bounds before Derek Gray can get the takedown. Derek Gray just incredible hip strength there, just shut down the shot by Spencer Urban. 47 seconds left in the match. These two definitely slowed down. Definitely an early season matchup here. Little head tapping going on. 35 seconds left, and they'll slip out of bounds. "30 seconds left in regulation here. Weak shot by Spencer Urban. Here's an overhook by Derek Gray trying to trip with it. They go out of bounds, hip to hip. Derek Gray had the right arm with an overhook, and he tried to step across and trip up Urban, but he couldn't do it. 15 seconds left here. Forehead to forehead, 10 seconds. Somebody going to do a last-second shot here in regulation? Not a lot of energy here for either of these wrestlers. And they work near the edge of the mat, and they'll go out of bounds. So, we'll go to the end of regulation. 2-2. So here we are in overtime. Urban with the first shot, and Derek Gray has been cautioned for stalling once in the match. Back early in the second period, there's a caution for stalling against Spencer Urban, though. So now both wrestlers have been cautioned. 37 seconds left in the overtime period. Weak shot by Urban. They both pop up. Attempt by a toss by Urban. He's out to the side on a hip. He's going to slip behind, and Spencer Urban is going to get the takedown in overtime to beat Derek Gray. He was trying for a headlock. He slipped out of it. They went down hip to hip, and An overtime takedown by Spencer Urban to win the match 4-2. Quick timeout. Back in 30 seconds on Morgan County's B106. We made our way to 160-pound senior Brandon Hoffman, who is ranked number 1 in the state on the mat rankings, is out there taking on Juan Sanchez. These two wrestlers just underway. Mustangs trailing in the duel by a score of 3-0 now. After that overtime loss, Derek Gray, tough loss to Spencer Urban. Hoffman working from the center of the ring. Sanchez working counterclockwise around the 10-foot circle around him. 45 seconds gone here in this first period. The wrestler has taken much of a shot yet. They'll work towards the edge and now walk back towards the center. Forehead to forehead. Already a minute gone in the first period. Not a lot of activity yet. This 160-pound match, Brandon Hoffman, the senior. First great season last year for Hoffman. Here he's ranked number 1. Sanchez on the shot. He's got it. He gets the takedown, but immediately a switch put on by Hoffman. Hoffman is in through the switch, and he's about to get the reversal. He does, and we are tied up 2-2 as they slip out of bounds. So Hoffman got taken down, but he immediately hit a switch right out of it, got his 2-point reversal. We're tied 2-2. 26 seconds left here in the first period. Sanchez standing switch, he gets the reversal. And then he cuts loose Hoffman. So all of a sudden it's 4-3. Brandon Hoffman trailing, and wrestlers are on their feet. So they continue to work from their feet near the edge of the mat, right in front of the Fort Morgan bench. Now Sanchez flips off and shot it back to the center. That's the end of the first period. Well, Brandon Hoffman is trailing 4-3 at the end of the first period. So Sanchez is going to work from the bottom. He was able to quickly get a reversal. The last time he worked from the bottom, let's see if Hoffman can ride better here. Nope. Immediately standing switch again, and there's the escape. So Brandon Hoffman trails 5-3. He popped Brandon Hoffman in the eye. Not intentional or anything. He just bumped off his eye. And Hoffman will have time called. The official will call time to check him out. It's like maybe he has, I don't know if he has a contact or not. Maybe he used to have a contact. Well, it looks like Brandon Hoffman's going to be okay, and we're back to action. Only 9 seconds gone here in the second period. Brandon Hoffman trailing by a score of 5-3. It's a match the Mustangs really need to win for the duel tonight. Always tough wrestling the Rough Riders. You never know where you're going to pick up your wins. Hoffman's one the Mustangs need to count on. He's trailing 5-3. Reaches in on the single leg, trying to pull Sanchez down, but they run out of room, go out of bounds. Hoffman's still rubbing his eye. Sanchez continues to spin around Hoffman. They split apart, come back towards the center. Great shot by Sanchez. Pulls down a low ankle single, takes down Hoffman. Hoffman down 7-3 as they go out of bounds. Incredible shot by Sanchez. Moving incredibly quickly on that shot. Wow. Sanchez leading 7-3. Sanchez will be cautioned for starting early. Brandon Hoffman gets driven back down to the mat off the whistle. He's up to his feet and tries to get turned back in, but they run out of real estate. They'll go out of bounds. 57 seconds left in the second period. Brandon Hoffman is down 7-3. Up to his feet. Tries to standing switch. Got hold of the single leg, trying to pull it in. And he's on the edge of the mat. Guy's knees in. Can he pull it in? He's at least going to get an escape out of this, but they go out of bounds. So he gets the escape and not the reversal, and now he's down 7-4. Two wrestlers on their feet. Brandon Hoffman trailing by 3. Forehead to forehead. Now they split apart. Hoffman pretty content to sit in the center and let Sanchez just work around him. They continue the hand fight, looking for control. Duck under attempt by Hoffman, but it'll slip out of bounds. He's pretty frustrated at this point. They continue forehead to forehead. Hoffman looks very frustrated out there, trailing in the match by a score of 7-4. Sanchez wrestling straight back at the end of the second period. Score will be 7-4. So Hoffman's going to work from the bottom here. Mustang Wrestling here on Morgan County's B106.com. First duel of the season here for Fort Morgan. Last week's duel at Skyline was snowed out. Here's Hoffman onto his feet, tries to turn back in for a switch. It's not going to go anywhere. Now Sanchez cuts him loose. There's the escape, 7-5. So for Hoffman, a takedown would tie it. Great double leg shot by Sanchez, but somehow Hoffman is able to block him out. It looks like Sanchez was in pretty deep. Well, Sanchez moves quickly on his feet. Long shot by Hoffman, doesn't get it. Tries again. Counter shot doesn't go anywhere by Sanchez. Now we're down to 1:14. Coach Spike Reynolds getting a little animated over on the bench. Trying to get Hoffman encouraged here to finish strong. 70 seconds left in the match, and Brandon Hoffman trailing 7-5. Forehead to forehead, each with a wrist now, trying to gain control. They break apart. Hoffman getting pretty serious here. Needs a takedown to tie it. Trails by a score of 7-5. Gets Juan Sanchez here at Roosevelt High School. And shoot at the same time, go forehead to forehead. Here's the shot by, who's he going to get it? Hoffman does some nice footwork on the edge of the mat, and he does get the 2-point takedown. He's going to give the free escape, which will make it 7-7. And then the free escape puts him down 8-7. So he's going to need another takedown to take the lead. With 35 seconds left in the match, Brandon Hoffman needs a takedown to win. Hoffman trailing 8-7. 30 seconds left in the match against Juan Sanchez of the Roosevelt Rough Riders. Sanchez with a shot. Hoffman blocks him off 20 seconds. Time running pretty thin for Brandon Hoffman. Going to have to get a shot off. Coach Spike Reynolds shouting at him from the side. 10 seconds. Hoffman just out of time. Down to 5 seconds. Can he get a crazy shot off? He's just trying to drive through. There's a caution for stalling against Sanchez, just trying to push him away. 4 seconds left in the match. Hoffman's going to have to come up with some last-second magic here. He's going to run out of time. He's not going to get it. Hoffman will lose 8-7. 30-second timeout here on Morgan County B106. Boy, that was a fantastic match wrestled by Juan Sanchez of the Roosevelt Rough Riders, winning at 8-7 over Brandon Hoffman, giving him his first loss of the year. And now for the Mustangs, 170-pounder freshman Chris Schreiber is out on the mat. He's wrestling against Dylan Golden. Mustangs are now down in the duel by a score of 6-0. Here's Schreiber trying to block out a single leg. Got a front headlock to keep him away. Schreiber trying to pop free. He's out to the side. Got a hold of the single leg. He'll drive down. Schreiber, the Mustang freshman, now flat on his stomach. Takedown comes 35 seconds in. Schreiber flat down on his stomach. Here comes the half Nelson to the right side. Has to tilt. Schreiber gets his hips over the top, and he's able to work a reverse. Yeah, out to the side. He hasn't quite got the reversal yet. He can spin around and get it. He's at least got an escape coming here. They're on their feet. There's the escape. Thought he had a reversal, but good hip work by Schreiber. He trails now 2-1. The wrestlers are on their feet. Low single leg, head heel by Dylan Golden. He gets the takedown. Schreiber goes down again, trailing 4-1 now. Hard crossface. Big hard crossface. Looking for that corkscrew against Schreiber. He's got a half cranked over. Schreiber's able to bust free. He's up onto his feet. But Golden hanging on to a single leg. He'll drive Schreiber back down onto his hip. 25 seconds to go in the first period. And Dylan Golden of the Roosevelt Rough Riders leading 4-1. Well, the Mustangs freshman, Chris Schreiber. Mustangs again trailing in the duel, 6-0. Lost in overtime by Derek Gray, and Brandon Hoffman gets upset, 8-7. So Schreiber working from the bottom after the whistle. 17 seconds left in the first period. Not a lot going on here in the last 10 seconds. The roll by Schreiber trying to get his hips over the top again. Can he get it done? He does pop through and get the reversal. Nice job by Schreiber at the end of the period. He gets his 2-point reversal, and it'll be 4-3 at the end of the first. Now we're going to get a little bit of blood. So while they do that, let's tell you about Central Auto Parts. For all of your auto supply needs, stop by Central Auto Parts at West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. Also, Premier Farm Credit, committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending. And Insurance Connection, another one of our great sponsors, whether it's health, life, or dental insurance, or Medicare supplements, see Sharon Kaufman at Insurance Connection. So, the freshman for the Fort Morgan Mustangs out there. Chris Schreiber is trailing in the match 4-3. Wrestling pretty well here. Freshman at upper weight. Time the Roosevelt Rough Rider jumped early. Schreiber up onto his feet. And Golden hanging on to a single leg to take him back down. Drive Schreiber down to his hips. Now Golden working back up the body. Here's Schreiber back up in the referee's position. Up to his knees briefly, then gets flattened back down. And so Schreiber continues to work off the bottom. He's still stuck down on his stomach. Comes a big half Nelson coming around the right side by Dylan Golden, but Schreiber's able to block that. Minute 17 to go here in the second period. For Schreiber, the Mustangs trailing 4-3. Third match of the night started at 152 pounds. This is a 170-pound match. Yep, that's right. If you're just tuning in, 170, not 171. We'll run down those weight class changes again here when we get the opportunity, maybe at our end of the next period. Here comes a tilt on the way from Golden. Tried to tilt Schreiber through. He didn't get 2 back points out of it. He did tilt Schreiber over, so Chris Schreiber's going to give up a couple of back points. That'll put him down 6-3. Schreiber a little upset about that. I'm just going to have to keep saying these weight classes out loud to get used to them. Schreiber off the whistle, tries to make his way up to his feet, but again, Golden hanging on to an ankle, and he's able to stay in control. 30 seconds left here, and there's a locked hands call. Wow. A locked hands call goes against, it's going to go against Golden. Looked like he was locked around the legs, and he slipped. He must have gone just a little too high with it. And so it's a penalty point. Schreiber will take it. That'll put him down 6-4. 28 seconds left in the second period. So Schreiber, driven down to the mat here, trying to get control of his wrists again. Does get his arms back. Big hard crossface by Golden, cranking around from the left side. That'll work that corkscrew again. He's got Schreiber tilted halfway over. Schreiber trying to stay off his back with 5 seconds left in the period. He rolls through for a 1 count, not enough for back points. Schreiber just kind of fighting it rolled all the way through it and avoids the back point. So Chris Schreiber will trail 6-4 going into the third period. The choice will go to Dylan Golden. He wants to start on their feet. So they're going to go takedown. Those weight classes again for you: 106, 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, 145, 152, and 160. Then 170, 182, 195, 220, and 285 heavyweight class. There's a shot by Golden. And Schreiber sprawled out on top of him, trying to reach across an ankle to block it off, but he's sitting down on a hip, not in a very good position. Hoping for a stalemate call. Best Chris Schreiber can hope for just happened. He got the stalemate call. Minute 30 left in the match. Chris Schreiber trailing by a score of 6-4. They're on their feet. Schreiber needs a takedown here to tie this match up. Shot by Golden. Headlock put on by Schreiber. Had a chance to spin around, couldn't get there quick enough. Now they break apart. Minute 12 left in the match. And the freshman getting the experience in the practice room of having to wrestle Brandon Hoffman all the time. He's going to spin around to the side. Nearly had a takedown. So it's probably a little tough during the week having to wrestle against Brandon Hoffman, but it's also a great experience for him as a freshman. Here comes a single leg by Golden, and Schreiber's going to get taken down with 47 seconds left in the match. Schreiber will be down by a score of 8-4 now. Stinks his head. It looks like he's about giving up in the match now, though. 35 seconds left, and he's down by a score of 8-4. We'll get a whistle. And not sure. We got some blood, so they'll take a timeout and get the blood cleaned up. Again, I'm just going to keep repeating these new weight classes so that you, me, and everybody else can get used to them. The opening of the lowest weight class, instead of 103, moves up to 106. Then it's 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, then 145, 52, and 160. And then 170, 182, 195, 220, and 285. Still working on the blood. Equitable Savings and Loan is Northeast Colorado's hometown savings and loan in Fort Morgan and Brush. That's Equitable Savings and Loan. Thank you for their sponsorship here of tonight's broadcast. The blood is cleaned up. We've got 30 seconds left in the match, and Fort Morgan freshman Chris Schreiber trails 8-4. Hoping for a big move here. He's got a hold of it. Tilts over, got a hold of an arm, and he's going to flop out on top. He's got control. He's up now. He's 6. Big hard crossface. He's trying to tilt over. And he's got 14 seconds to try and squeeze that out for some back points. I don't know if he can get Golden sucked back far enough. Down to 5 seconds left in the period. He's going to run out of time. He's going to come close. He's trying to pull him over on top. Not going to get the back points. He's going to end up losing 8-6. It's going to be the final score. But solid match for the freshman, but a tough loss, and that makes the Mustangs 0-3. Back in 30 seconds on Morgan County's B106. Back to action here. The Mustangs are going to give up a forfeit at 182 pounds. Ben Hokenadel out with a concussion. Had a shoulder surgery during the off-season. Was wrestling, but then got a concussion, so he's out tonight. Steve Frank gets the forfeit, and that adds 6 points for the Mustangs, and they are up now 15-0. So we're up to the 195-pound weight class now. Jesus Sabara, another freshman for the Mustangs, and he's going to be out on the mat against Harley Schmidt. Kind of an interesting mix of classes here for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Certainly got a couple of freshmen in the mix, but a nice senior class as well, several upperclassmen. Encouraging for the Mustangs to see several of those wrestlers sticking it out and getting to the point of having some upperclassmen. It seems like the last several years Fort Morgan has had almost an exclusive freshman-sophomore squad. There's a shot by Schmidt. Now they're looking to throw each other, and they slip out of bounds. The whistle blows. And we'll go back to the center. So Jesus Sabara trailing, or scoreless here. 30 seconds gone in the first period. No score. Mustang freshman. Out there, head slapping, trying to find a position where he can get a shot in. So they each grab each other by the scruff of the neck, look for a trip. Here's a shot. Nice little duck under attempt by Harley Schmidt. And Ibarra with an underhook trying to block him through, rolling through, but Ibarra gets taken down. Schmidt gets the takedown and leads 2-zip with 53 seconds left here in the first period. In that corkscrew, the same move that was worked against Chris Schreiber a moment ago, but Ibarra is able to roll all the way through it and avoid giving up any backbone. Back into the referee's position, 30 seconds left here in the first period. Jesus Ibarra trailing by a score of 2-zip. Schmidt looking for big power half. Nelson mashes the forearm in the back of the head of Ibarra. Ibarra again fighting off that power half. Nelson Schmidt trying to crank it over from the left side. Ibarra won't give it to him. Time winding down. Now cross-face around from the other side. And the first period comes to a close. Ibarra trails 2-zip at the end of one. So Ibarra will work from the bottom here to start out the second period. Schmidt jumps on the right side, and Schmidt got going just a little bit soon. The official, Rocky Morgan, will talk with both wrestlers, get them squared away after the caution, and we are underway here in the second period. Ibarra gets mashed down onto his stomach, slowly trying to get back up to his base position. Trying to get control of his wrist. Now here comes a big hard crossface around the right side for Harley Schmidt. Trying to reach over and then turn it into a far side cradle. Just about has it connected. Now Ibarra is able to flatten out. Caution for stalling goes against Ibarra. Ibarra trying to get turned in. He whoops and stepped into a half Nelson. But luckily, Harley Schmidt wasn't able to get his legs free to step all the way across it. Now here comes that corkscrew again, and this time Ibarra gets cranked over onto his back. He's trying to roll back into it to get away from it, but keeping the left shoulder barely off the mat, and there's the pin cross. Our first pin of the night comes against Ibarra, and he comes at 3 minutes and 6 seconds for Harley Schmidt. So he'll score now 21-zip for the Mustangs. Back in 30 seconds on Mulligan County, B106. Well, we saw a little bit of juggling earlier. We saw for the Rough Riders, they moved around Paul Frank from heavyweight down to 220 and bumped Alex Davis up to heavyweight. And the Mustangs have now scratched Anthony Stevens, who was on the roster. So that turns into a forfeit for the Mustangs. So we're now at the heavyweight match, and the Mustangs are down 27-zip. And in the heavyweight match, Angel Del Campo is now out there taking on Alex Davis. So Del Campo, forehead to forehead with Davis. And they're slowly working around. Some big boys out there, both tall wrestlers. Not exactly your big boy heavyweights. They bounce apart. Still head slapping. Del Campo last year had the unfortunate distinction of wrestling against some of the top wrestlers in the state within the league, and had a lot of tough matches last year. But here he is as a senior. Let's see what he can do. They continue to wrestle forehead to forehead. A minute gone in the first period, no score. Not much of a shot by either wrestler so far here in the match. So Still working for some hand control here. Now they slowly make their way back to the center. Now, not a lot going on with the big boys here. Del Campo looking for a shot, but he is blocked out. Make it very far in. Down to 20 seconds left. Either wrestler wants to make a mistake. Del Campo reaching for a single leg, but they'll slip out of bounds. 10 seconds to go in the first period. Still no score. Mustangs are down in the duel by a bunch. Have not won a match tonight. The big shocker, Brandon Hoffman, getting upset at 160 pounds. First period comes to a close. Choice is going to go to Davis. Davis is going to work from the bottom. He started with Derek Gray, and Gray had a great match going on, ended up losing 4-2 in overtime, got taken down in overtime. And Hoffman, the tough 8-7 loss. Chris Schreiber losing 8-6. The Mustangs were open at 182. Aces Barr was pinned. And then the Mustangs were open again at 220. And here's Angel Del Campo out on the mat now. He's working with the front headlock. Sitting out to the side. Del Campo is straight out front now. Now they're going to split apart. There's an escape by Alex Davis. That'll be the first point of the match. Davis gets the escape to go up 1-0. These two guys pretty intent on grabbing each other by the scruff of the neck. Physically, Del Campo looking pretty good. Looks like he may have slimmed down a little bit, maybe gotten a little bit taller from last season. The senior looking pretty sharp out there, trailing in the match. They're bouncing around now. Still a lot of activity. Down to 45 seconds to go in the second period. Angel Del Campo lead. They're trailing by a score of 1-0. Davis looking a little bit frustrated. Here's a shot by Del Campo, but he is blocked, and they'll come back to their feet. Down to 22 seconds left in the second period. Still not a lot of activity. Del Campo gave up the escape, and he trails 1-0. See if you can work the last second shot here. Down to 5 seconds. Here comes to a close. And so we'll go to the third period. And Del Campo trails by a score of 1-0. See what happens in the third period. We're going to go takedowns here in this third period. So Del Campo's going to need to take down to win it. Again, the Rough Riders shifting things around a little bit. Alex Davis was originally listed as a 220-pound wrestler. He bumped up to heavyweight to wrestle Del Campo. Minute and a half left in the match. Angel Del Campo needs a takedown for the win. He's down 1-0. He is working. Del Campo looking for a shot. Has reached for a leg several times. Just hasn't been able to find good position. Time winding down. We're down to 1:10 left in the match. There's a caution for stalling. That's going to go against Alex Davis. They continue forehead to forehead. They spin. Davis driving into Del Campo now. 50 seconds left in the match. Del Campo trying to get a little bit more energy here. Still can't find a great position for a shot. They split apart. Here's another shot by Del Campo. He'll drive Davis near the edge of the mat. 34 seconds left in the match. And Davis is in danger of giving up a stalling penalty. 28 seconds left in the match. Del Campo shoots again. There was the penalty for stalling, but not a great shot by Del Campo, and he'll be taken down. But Del Campo is now down 3-1. He got the stalling call to tie it, but then couldn't finish the takedown. Del Campo is down 3-1. 10 seconds left. Now he turns in wrong. He's in a half Nelson. He's in trouble. He's got his shoulders off the mat. He'll go out of bounds. He's going to give up 2 more back points, and just like that, Angel Del Campo is down 5-1. So with 7 seconds left, Del Campo quickly running out of time. Del Campo trying to make his way up onto his feet. Tripped right back down to the mat, and he'll win his final score. It's 5-1. Another win for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Another win for Roosevelt. So 5-1 the final score there for Alex Davis. We're back after this on Morgan County's B106. And back to action here. We come back around to the lower weight classes. At 106 pounds, the Mustangs are open, so Dustin Haight took forfeit. And now that puts the Mustangs down 36-0. And the Mustangs will send out now Ian Wingstrom at the junior at 113 pounds, solid wrestler for Fort Morgan. Let's see what he can do if he can get the Mustangs onto the board here. Quickly gets a hold of a single leg, trying to finish it off for the takedown. Switches to a double, walks up the body, and gets his 2 points. So Wingstrom takes the lead. Going from that slow, methodical heavyweight match, these 113-pounders are just flying around now. 30 seconds gone in the first period. Wingstrom riding from the left side. And a roll through, and nice job on a tilt by Wingstrom. He's got a couple of back points coming. He got all 3 out of that. Nice move. Great tilt by Ian Wingstrom. He goes up 5-0. So here we are, the 9th weight class of the duel. 9th out of 14, and Wingstrom with a 5-0 lead now and dominating in this match. Trying to give the Mustangs their first win here in the duel. Looks like he's got a near side. He thought he had a near side cradle. He does have it. Tries to go over the top with it, and that is just an odd combination. He's got it stacked up, and he's got Elijah Di Herrera on his back. And Wingstrom going for the pin. He's got 30 seconds here. It looks like a shoulder's off the mat. Near side shoulder appears to be off the mat for Di Herrera, but Wingstrom trying to get around to stack it up, put all the weight on top of the shoulders. See if Ian Wingstrom can settle it back and earn this pin. Not really a great pinning position. See if he can settle it back. He did. Able to come around, hook the leg. There's the pin. 1 minute, 52 seconds pin time for Ian Wingstrom. Gives the Mustangs their first win of the night. Puts them on the scoreboard. Back in 30 seconds on Morgan County's B106. Well, it's always tough when you come to Roosevelt to wrestle the Rough Riders, but the Fort Morgan Mustangs have made it on the board. Ian Wingstrom a first period pin over Elijah Di Herrera. And now Cody Carpenter's out on the mat. He's taking on Zach Korju. And Korju gets the takedown. Korju riding from the right side. Trying to get a hold of some wrists. He takes Carpenter down. Mashes him down to his stomach. Lifting that arm up pretty high. The official gets right in there to make sure that he doesn't lift Carpenter's elbow too high behind his back. But it settles back out. They're going to go out of bounds with 58 seconds left in the first period. Mustang sophomore Cody Carpenter out on the mat. Tries to hit his switch, gets sat out, but can't get turned back in. And Corjo is able to follow. So he gets Carpenter mashed back down to his stomach. Cody slowly working his way back up into the referee's position with 35 seconds left in the first period. Big half Nelson coming around from the right side. Carpenter's able to bust that off. $20 seconds left in the period. Borjo's got the left arm of Carpenter barred up. Now he gives up on that. Cody Carpenter trying to make his way up onto his feet. Carpenter back on his stomach, and that's how the first period will come to a close. At the end of one, Cody Carpenter trailing by a score of 2-0. And looks like Carpenter's going to work from the bottom again here in the second period. Carpenter makes his way up onto his feet briefly, but then gets tripped right back down. Borjo trying to get control of a wrist on the left side, trying to get that pulled back behind the body. Carpenter's not trying hard not to give it to him. And Cody Carpenter just trying to maintain control of his wrist. Here comes a half Nelson attempt from the right side to try and break it up. Carpenter just not going to give up a wrist. Not want to give up that arm bar. Now he gets up to a sit-out position briefly. Back down to the referee's position. We're at 120 pounds here in the duel. We started out at 152 pounds. Worked our way through the upper weights. We come back around to the lower weights, and we have 4 matches coming up after this. And actually, we've got one forfeit in there, so there'll be 3 matches after this. Mustangs trailing in the duel by a score of 36-6. The lone victory, Ian wins from a pin. The big story, the upset of Brandon Hoffman at 160 pounds. He loses 8-7. Juan Sanchez wrestling a fantastic match. They're going to go out of bounds with 42 seconds left in the second period. Cody Carpenter and Borjo jumps on the right side, and we're underway here in the second period. Cody Carpenter trailing still by a score of 2-0. Long wrestling tradition here at Roosevelt High School. Rough Riders have been solid for a lot of years. Looking at the banners here, there's quite a few wrestling banners up and several state champion photos. Here is Carpenter up onto his feet. Tries to get turned back in. Corjo hanging on to an ankle. Carpenter will get driven back down flat. And there's the end of the second period. So after 2, Cody Carpenter trailing by a score of 2-0. Again, the Mustangs are down 36-6 in the duel. Carpenter works from the bottom to start the third period. Trailing 2-0. Hasn't been able to get much going. He's been working from the bottom for over 3 minutes in this match already. Gets tilted over, but he's able to roll clear through it before giving up any back points. Corjo riding from the right side. Trying to reach through for half Nelson. Carpenter won't give it to him. Carpenter just down 2-0 in the match, but has not been able to get anything done working from the bottom of the referee's position. We're down now to a minute, 15 seconds left in the match. And Corjo finally does get an arm barred up, and he's trying to walk it up high. Here comes turning in. Nice move by Cody Carpenter. He's able to work reversal, and he's got Corjo on a hip. Can we get some back points out of this? Maybe 2 back points coming. And Cody Carpenter put on a great move, does get the back points, and he takes the lead with 50 seconds left in the match. Cody Carpenter had that arm bar. He just rolled all the way through it and was able to just jump over Corjo. He takes a 4-2 lead with 36 seconds left in the match. Spike Reynolds up on his feet trying to give Cody Carpenter a little bit of wisdom. 36 seconds. Got to ride it out. Can he ride for 36 seconds? Here's the switch. And they're up on their feet, face to face. There's the escape. So Carpenter leads by 1. Off to the side. He steps behind. He gets a 2-point takedown. He's getting up pretty high, though. He's reaching around, cross-facing on the head, and Corzo trying to pull him over the top. He's sitting on a hip, and Carpenter better throw a leg in there to protect himself. He does. 15 seconds left in the match. Carpenter leads 6-3. So Cody Carpenter up in the match now, 6-3. After trailing the majority of the match, coming up with a big move when he needed it. Final few seconds here, and Cody Carpenter will win this. This will be the final score. Nice win for Cody Carpenter and the Mustangs. We're back in 30 seconds on Morgan County's B106. Well, the Mustangs are able to add to the score. A 3 points get tacked on by the win by Cody Carpenter, and Justin Wood will stand out there, the junior for the Mustangs, wrestling at 126 pounds, and he's going to be wrestling Harley Bending. They're getting set up here. The scorers, table's ready to go, and we're underway. We've got Justin Wood at 126, an open weight at 132, and then Jacob Gherkin and Caleb Sills will round out the ninth. These two wrestlers, a lot of early energy, bouncing around each other. Justin Wood takes a shot, gets knocked out, and pushed right back out. Both these guys, tall, thin wrestlers at 126 pounds. Another shot attempt by Wood, and he doesn't get anywhere. Counter shot by Bending, and he's got a little single leg trying to finish it off. He's out to the side. They're going to go right out before Wood can be taken down. Nearly got taken down there. So they'll come back to the center. No points. Minute 10 to go. Hard cross face by Wood. He's out the side picking an ankle. He'll slip behind. And is he going to get his two? There it is. 2 points for Justin Wood. Mustang Jr. will go on top. 56 seconds left in the first period. And a bull drive around the left side. Got his forehead in the armpit trying to drive Bending around. Bending won't go. Bending working near the edge of the mat. Looks like he's trying to crawl down the edge. There will be the caution for stalling against Bending. Justin Wood leading by a score of 2-0. Wood rides on the left side, and we're underway. Here comes a sit-out attempt by Bending, but Wood just drives him right off the edge of the mat. 16 seconds left here in period number 1. Justin Wood again leading by a score of 2-0. Mustangs down 36-9 in the duel. So Wood getting a little instruction here. He jumped on and kind of bumped his hip into Bending. Didn't gently come on top. Flying out for the escape is Bending. And it's 2-1. Well, 16 seconds left in the period. He flew up and gets that late escape. The first period is going to come to a close, and it'll be 2-1. Justin Wood does have the lead. But a nice job by Justin Wood to finish out, or by Bending to finish out the period. We're going to go takedowns here in the second period. Two wrestlers on their feet. Good crowd on hand here tonight at Roosevelt High School. The Rough Riders hosting the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Here's a shot by Bending. And front headlock will keep him out. And Justin Wood will defend himself. They'll break apart, come back into the center with a minute 35 to go in the second period. There's a nice play by Justin Wood. Steps behind and is going to get his 2-point takedown. So Justin Wood goes up by a score of 4-1. Minute 22 to go in the second period. Right on the very edge of the mat in front of the Fort Morgan bench, and they'll slip out of bounds. So Wood is just going to go ahead and give up the free escape, and he's going to make it 4-2. So they'll start from their feet. Wood is taken down, bending a couple of times. He's going to try again. Now he's got bending down on his knee. He's sitting out to the side. Spins around, and he's got the 2-point takedown again. Trying to stack up. Bending had him tilted up, and not quite long enough for back points. 47 seconds left, and almost that Turk ride by Wood. He had a hold of the ankle of Bending, trying to get it lifted up in the air. Couldn't get it done. But Justin Wood leading by a score of 6-2. The clock continues to wind down. Justin Wood on top, 6-2. He's reaching around for a cradle and can't quite get it. But Justin Wood continues to ride. Wood riding now from the left side. So here's the switch attempt by Bending. He's up onto his feet, and he'll pop free for the escape. That'll make it 6-3 with 5 seconds left of the period. They're right on the edge of the mat. And they'll go out of bounds again with 1 second left. That's happened at least the second time that's happened where we've gone out of bounds with 1 second left of the period. That'll be the end of the first. So Justin Wood leads by a score of 6-2 at the end of the second period. Excuse me, 6-3. And now Wood is going to have to ride. Has given up 3 escapes in the match, and now he's going to have to ride again. Now here's a standing switch. There's another escape by Harley Bending. 6-4 now. And Justin Wood has taken down Bending 3 times. Let's see if he can do 4. He's got a hold of a single leg. Trying to pick it up high. They're out on the side now. They'll just split apart. Minute 35 to go in the match. Justin Wood is up 6-4. Again, he's already got 3 takedowns in the match as they're on their feet. Can Justin Wood maybe get one more takedown to seal this win? Here's another single leg shot by Wood. He's got it, and there's the takedown. So he's going to go up by a score of 8-4. Justin Wood putting on a nice display for takedowns here. 8-4 the lead, and Harley Bending wiped out. Wood ride basically just has Bending mashed down flat. Neither wrestler working too hard with a minute to go in the match. And Wood looking for a cradle around the outside. Now Bending just trying to yank him over the top. They're going to go side by side, face to face. And somehow Wood is able to spin all the way around Harley Bending and maintain control. Another sit out on the way. There's the escape. 8-5. Here's a shot, this time by Bending, but crossface, and Wood is going to spin back and get another takedown. So he's going to go up 10-5. 5 takedowns, 5 escapes in the match. Makes the score 10-5 with 22 seconds left in the match. And Justin Wood looking for another victory for the Fort Morgan Mustangs tonight. Got Bending tilted over to a hip with 10 seconds left in the match. And Wood looks like he's going to move on and give the Mustangs another win. Time winding down there is a caution for stalling. Time runs out. 10-5 is a win for Justin Wood. So the Mustangs do get another win here, and we'll be back in 30 seconds here on Morgan County, B106. The Mustangs are going to be open at 132 pounds, and Adam Carey is going to step out on the mat to take a forfeit for the Roosevelt Rough Riders, so they'll tack on another 6 points to the team score. And then we'll be ready for a match at 138, which will be Jacob Gertman. The junior now for the Mustangs, they'll be wrestling against Jace Lopez. There's the forfeit for Adam Carey, so the dual score now is 41-12. But give some credit to these Mustangs. They just had 3 wins in a row until that open weight there. Let's see if Jacob Gherkin can continue for the Mustangs. Mustang Jr. out there. Works in the center of the mat. Lopez spinning around him clockwise. Now shoving match, and Lopez driving Jacob Gherkin back. And front headlock by Lopez. And Jacob Gherkin's just not going to be able to go anywhere. They spin side by side. Nice. This is an incredible job by Chase Lopez to shuck Jacob Gherkin by and somehow get out to the side, get the takedown, and keep his knees inbounds all at the same time. Wow. Tough break for Gherkin, but boy, that was a great wrestling move. Gherkin gets tilted over, not far enough for back point. Gets tilted over again. Actually, did give up 2 back points on that last move. So Jacob Gherkin trailing 4-zip now. Chase Lopez now allows Gherkin to get up onto his feet, got a tight waist, and just pushes him back down onto the mat, back into the referee's position. Jacob Gherkin with his hands full here. Gherkin continuing to work, trying to get out of that referee's position. Now step out of bounds with 37 seconds left here in the match. We've got one more match tonight. Caleb Sills will wrestle at 145 pounds, and that'll finish out the duel. Mustangs are down by 30 team score. They're down 42-12. Nice move off the whistle by Caleb Sills. He stands up, gets turned back in, but then all of a sudden he gets picked right back up and driven onto the mat by Chase Lopez. Lopez will maintain control with 20 seconds to go in the first period. Gherkin trying to get turned back in, but not a lot of time, plus he's on the far edge of the mat, right near the line. They'll slip out with 7 seconds left in the first period. Well, the Mustang lightweights come through with 3 big wins in a row. And Jacob Gherkin down 4-zip here in the first period. Gets tilted over, and Rich is giving up the back point. Does not at the end of the period. Hometown crowd wanted the back point. The official said, nope. Gherkin is going to get the choice. He's going to work from the bottom. Lopez jumps on the left side. Gherkin jumped early this time. And Coach Spike Reynolds is going to go over and wants to check on the score. I don't know that he was sure about not sure if he's checking about those back points at the end of the first period, but he gets it squared away, and we'll be back to wrestling. So Gherkin is set, and now here comes Lopez jumping on the right side this time. Nope, this time Gherkin jumped again. So we'll get it squared away. Try it one more time. Third time's the charm. Underway in the second period, Jacob Gherkin trailing by a score of 4-zip. Gherkin trying to make his way up, and Jacob gets flattened out. And he got a great description by our official. Jacob Gherkin was about to get flattened into a half Nelson, but that arm got raised up way too high, and it was called potentially dangerous. But it did save Jacob Gherkin from getting worked over. Big roll on it. Granby roll by Gherkin, but he gets dropped onto his back. As the bodies went flying, our official, Rocky Morgan, just about got taken out in the action. He had to jump out of the way. Gherkin are going to give up 3 back points out of this move. So Gherkin is going to be down by a bunch. There's the back points awarded, so he's down 7-0. Lopez had an arm barred up. Now he just gave up on it. He's turned around to a front headlock. They face each other. They're both on their knees. But Lopez with a tight front headlock on Jacob Gherkin. He's not able to go anywhere. Gherkin can't get it broken free. We're going to get a stalemate called. I always enjoy watching our official, Rocky Morgan. He gets involved in the matches. He's flying around everywhere, making sure he can see what he needs to see, and not casual about his officiating. 47 seconds left in the second period. Jacob Gherkin trails by a score of 7-0. And Gherkin gets turned back in. He's trying to drive into a bear hug. The wrestlers are on their feet. There's the escape awarded to Gherkin, but a front headlock back in by Lopez. Lopez is going to shuck him by, come by on the side, and he'll get back in control for the 2 points. So Jacob Gherkin now down 9-1. Down to the final 10 seconds left in the second period. The tilt won't work at the very end of the period, and so we'll go to the third period. Jacob Gherkin is trailing by a score of 9-1. Jace Lopez wants to ride. So here's Gherkin working from the bottom of the referee's position. Gherkin gets flattened back down to his stomach. Get one more match after this to conclude the evening. The Mustangs trailing in the duel by a score of 42-12. But a nice job by the lower weights to come through with 3 wins in a row. Gherkin busted down, sitting on his left hip, now trying to slowly make his way back up into the base position. Minute and a half left in the match. Gherkin down by a score of 9-1. Gets tilted again. He's given up a couple of back points from this position. Yep, he's going to give up some more here. At least 2. Can't really get pinned from there, but he's sure giving up the back points. Now he's down 11-1. Gone into major decision territory here. Minute left in the match. Jacob Gherkin not able to get anything going from the bottom. He works near the edge of the mat, just trying to crawl for the edge, slides near, but Lopez drags him back in. 45 seconds left in the match. Gherkin trying to work around the line in front of the hometown crowd, and hard crossface will put him out of bounds. 39 seconds left in the match. Jacob Gherkin down by a bunch. He trails 11-1. This match again at 138 pounds. And Gherkin got going again. Is that actually enough cautions to get a point? Yep, that'll be a point against Gherkin. So now he's down 12-1. Now this time Lopez got going early. So we may or may not be able to get a clean start here. 35 seconds left in the match. Jacob Gherkin trailing by a score of 12-1. Here comes a big hard crossface by Lopez. Gherkin tried to hit a roll, but follows very well, now back into another tilt. But this time, Gherkin is able to avoid rolling onto his back. This time he does get rolled briefly through on his back, not enough for points, and he'll go out of bounds again. 14 seconds left in the match. Gherkin is working hard, but definitely against the superior wrestler here, down 12-1. Give him credit, he is fighting hard. Another big Granby roll by Gherkin. 2 rolls. Time he's about able to pop free, nearly got out of it. But he'll flop back down onto his stomach. Final few seconds here. And the final score of this one is going to be 12-1. Jace Lopez the win over Jacob Gherkin. Back for a final match right after this on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Final match of the night, Mustang senior Caleb Sills out there taking on Mason Merrick. And Merrick quickly with the takedown. Put Sills down. And Merrick working from the left side. Sills trying to break his left wrist free. Right on the edge of the mat, he's in his base position. He'll slip out of bounds. The dual score right now, 46-12. 3 wins in the duel now for the Mustangs. And the Mustangs have given up also 3 forfeits. Sills gets busted down to his stomach again. Minute 20 left in the first period. Sills wrestling at 145 pounds. That's one of the numbers we're used to seeing here in Colorado high school wrestling. One of the few of the current new weight classes. Getting those weight classes, I'm just going to keep saying them until I get used to them. 106, 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, 145, 152, and 160. And then 170, 182, 195, 220, and then the heavyweight 285. Sills wrestling again at 145. Not able to get much going from the bottom here in the first period. We're down to 37 seconds left in the first period. Been taken down, so he trails 2-0. And you get a caution for stalling against Caleb Sills. Sills just not able to get anything going against Mason Merrick. They work over by the Roosevelt fans. And we'll wind down, and the first period will come to a quiet close. A takedown in the first 5 seconds by Mason Merrick, and he rides the entire first period. Merrick wants to go to takedowns. So they'll start on their feet in the second period. He took Sills down quickly in first. They're on their feet, forehead to forehead. Looking for control of a wrist. Sills was winning the battle for a moment. Now here's a shot and another shot by Merrick, and he'll drive Caleb Sills out of bounds. Minute 37 to go in the second period. The last match of the night here. Mustangs here at Roosevelt High School in Johnstown. Duck under by Merrick. They're going to slip out of bounds. Merrick with a nice move to get behind Caleb Sills, but they were still on their feet as they went out of bounds, so no control awarded. They continue to pop each other in the forehead. Grabbing a wrist, grabbing an elbow, trying to find a position of control with a minute to go in the second period. Sills gets down to a knee. Big hard crossface. Front three-quarter by Merrick, trying to pressure around. Now he just slips in behind. And Merrick will get another takedown. He'll go up 4-0 with 37 seconds to go in the second period. Final Mustang match of the night. Caleb Sills down 4-0. We'll get a stalemate called, and we'll go back to the center with 27 seconds left in the second period. Merrick riding to the left side, mashes Caleb Sills flat onto his stomach. Trying to work a power half Nelson, takes that right forearm and drives it into the back of the neck of Sills. Now big hard crossface. Came around and almost grabbed the chin. And we're going to get a caution. I think he did try and grab that chin. can't grab around the head like, can't touch the chin like that. Period gives him potentially dangerous for it, and then they'll end the period. So Caleb Sills will trail 4-0 as we head into the final 2 minutes of this one. Sills riding for the left side. Merrick working from the bottom here in the final 2 minutes. Sills just hanging on tight from behind, just trying to maintain control. Hasn't even worked on offense. He's just trying to continue to ride. And now, looks like Merrick just about had Sills pulled over, but Sills does have a cradle. Sills does have a near side cradle, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to do anything with it. We'll see if he can get it turned over. This would be a big move for Caleb Sills if he can hang on to it. Down 4-0. Trying to put Merrick onto his back and loses the cradle. Merrick up onto his feet. And Mason Merrick goes up 5-0. So Caleb Sills had a shot, had a cradle hooked up, couldn't get it turned over. And now he's down 5-0. Minute left in the match. They continue to work from the center. Sills kind of getting pushed around right now with 37 seconds left in the match. Caleb Sills trailing 5-0, down to 30 seconds left in this final match of the night. And there is a stalling against Caleb Sills, and that puts him down 6-0. So Caleb Sills down 6-0. 20 seconds left. Team point-wise, it looks like Caleb Sills wants to try and at least get a takedown, or at least not be taken down. If he gets taken down these final few seconds, that would be the difference of a major decision. That gives us another penalty point for stalling. Got a headlock, and he's going to lose it, he'll get taken down. And just avoid it. He gets taken down. Actually, the penalty point went the other way. So 8-1 will be the final score of that one. Caleb Sills will lose 8-1, and 49-12 will be the final dual score. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come back and run you through all the scores. Back after this here in Morgan County B106 and B106.com. The final dual score, the Mustangs lose 49-12 to the always tough Roosevelt Rough Riders. Let's tell you how it happened. The postgame show brought to you by High Plains Bank in Wiggins. No matter what your loan needs, stop by High Plains Bank at 502 Central Avenue in Wiggins today. Also inquire about checking and savings accounts, as well as CDs at High Plains Bank in Wiggins. We started out at 152 pounds. Senior Derek Gray out on the mat. A great match against Spencer Urban. And Gray got the early takedown, led 2-1 after the first period, and escape by Urban tied it up at the second period. We had a scoreless third period, so we went to overtime, 2-2, as we went into overtime, and Derek Gray was taken down in overtime to lose it. A tough one, 4-2, the score there. And at 160 pounds, here was the surprise of the night. Brandon Hoffman got upset by Juan Sanchez. Sanchez wrestling a great match. Took Hoffman down early, led 4-3 at the end of the first period. Early in the second period, Brandon Hoffman kind of got poked in the eye and looked a little bit slow after that. But after the second period, Sanchez attacked on a couple more to make it 7-4. And Hoffman came back and scored got a couple of takedowns to bring it close. But Sanchez ends up surviving 8-7 in the final score. Juan Sanchez defeats Brandon Hoffman at 160 pounds. Chris Schreiber, the freshman for the Mustangs, a great match, but ended up losing 8-6 to Dylan Golden. At 182 pounds, Ben Hokanal was out for the concussion, so Steve Frank took a forfeit. Freshman Jesus Ibarra for the Mustangs was pinned in 3 minutes and 6 seconds. The Mustangs ended up being open at 220 pounds, no wrestler there, so Paul Frank took a forfeit. Angel Del Campo ended up losing 5-1 to Alex Davis. He was a close match up until about the last 30 seconds when he gave up several points. So 5-1 again, the final score there. And Angel Del Campo takes the loss. Mustangs were open at 106 and 113. Mustangs did start a winning streak with Ian Wingstrom getting a pin at 1 minute 52 seconds over Elijah D. Herrera. Cody Carpenter got a 6-3 decision over Zach Cordial, and Justin Wood got a 10-5 decision over Harley Bending. So 3 wins in a row for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, to give them their 12 points. Mustangs were open at 132. Jacob Gurkin lost a major decision, losing 12-1 to Chase Lopez. Caleb Sills losing in that last match. They're 8-1 the final score. So the Mustangs take the loss, and they will lose their first duel of the season to the Roosevelt Rough Riders. The final duel score is 49-12. Our next Mustang Sportscast will be tomorrow night. The Fort Morgan boys at University. And that is a 7 o'clock broadcast. Josh Miller with the play-by-plays. That's going to wrap things up here from Roosevelt High School in Johnstown. I'm Jeremy Weathers here on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com.